Yeah, I'm ready. 1.21.
All right, so let's talk about NWA Powerrr, which is episode 23, I believe, from April the 6th, 2021. So we started the show with Aaron Stevens sitting at commentary talking about the tag team championship, and this would be a tag team dedicated episode of NWA Powerrr, and that they were going to sit at ringside and scope out all of the talent and all of the competition in the tag team division. And then here comes Sal Ronaldo. Was it Sal Ronaldo? Oh shit, his name's slipping my mind. But the guy Aaron Stevens promised a tag team title shot to, even though he claims later that he didn't really promise that he promised to give the guy a match, and that he needs to have a partner. Then they kind of go back and forth, and then he challenged him to a one-on-one match. This Sal Ronaldo guy said that he'll wrestle Stevens, and Stevens said, "Okay, cool," you know. And he talked about how all this match has changed him. Woke up his competitive nature, and that he really wants to test himself, and you know he's ready to bring it. So this Sal guy says he's going to go and find himself a partner, and you know Steven said, "Look, it's up to the NWA to sanction a championship match, but you know if you get in line, we'll take you on." They're obviously still building, taking these tag team titles off of Stevens and Kratos, which they probably need to do. And I'm glad they're taking their time with it. They're not just doing it. You know, they're taking the time with it. Good stuff. So the first match was Powerrr and Odinson, known as The End, versus Tom Latimer and Chris Adonis. And they were announced as Strictly Business. But they are not officially Strictly Business. So Powerrr and Odinson, man, you talk about two guys that remind me of the Viking Raiders. Two big dudes. You got one pretty jacked guy in Odinson. Powerrr was a guy I've seen multiple times before. You know, power guys, power moves. I mean, I've never seen Odinson before. At least not on TV. I think I may have seen him in an indie. I think I may have seen these guys team up before. Not sure. Just not married to the idea of whether I've seen them or not. The finish came with Camille interfering, which gave Adonis an opportunity to, I think he threw a low blow on Odinson and then put him in the master lock. And then the referee stopped the match. So, Masters Adonis and Latimer win via submission, via referee stoppage. And then Thunder Rosa came out to bark at Camille. You know, Camille was interfering in this match, had interfered in her match last week. Now she was all up in it. She wanted to get all up in her face. You know, the guys were in the ring, Adonis and Latimer were in the ring, and you know, they kind of invited her to come into the ring to face Camille, and she saw that it was, you know, she was outnumbered 3-1. She was like, you know what? No, I'll pass. I'll see you later. I'll come back to see you guys later. Now, they're going to go into a promo with her, but I thought this match was pretty good. I thought that Powerrr and Odinson have good, you know, they look like two big guys. I'm surprised they didn't, you know, get a win. So at some point here, I'm not saying get a win here against the new North American champion or new national champion. I'm sorry. I'm just get so used to calling that title the North American title. But the new national champion and Tom Latimer. I'm not saying beat them, but there's other guys in the tag team division they could have beaten, you know, to give some legitimacy to those guys. So I actually like the look, like their performance, you know. It was a really cool spot where Odinson did like a Death Valley driver, using Powerrr as a weapon. So it was some pretty cool stuff. So Thunder Rosa goes over to cut a promo. She starts talking about how if she got to deal with Camille herself, then Camille needs to be scared. She needs to be afraid. She needs to be worried because she's got two hands for Camille. And then we get Taryn Terrell, who is making her debut. She comes out, and Taryn Terrell, I believe, was in TNA. If I remember correctly, she was a TNA Women's Champion. I could have swore I just saw her on a TNA pay-per-view a couple of weeks ago. And I don't remember. I don't remember. Anyway, she came out and said that she would challenge Thunder Rosa, but she got, you know, an injury. And but if Thunder Rosa needs anything, to let her know. And that she'll always be cheering for Thunder Rosa and looking out for her. So that brings out Melina. Melina is like, no, you know, couple weeks ago, last week or whatever, Melina had asked Thunder Rosa, like, hey, I'm going to be looking out for you. So then she comes out and says, like, if anybody's going to be cheering for Thunder Rosa, it's going to be me. If anybody's going to be looking out for her, it's going to be me. You need to back off. And Thunder Rosa's like, look, I don't need you. And I definitely don't need you, Melina, because you're messy enough as it is. And she walks off. So now we got these two ladies are now trying to plot on, Thunder Rosa doesn't want friends. And they're going to try to force her into a friendship, I guess. Which is really strange. It's really strange. But I don't know. I'm really interested in where this is going. They've kind of transitioned Melina more into a mouthpiece and a manager, not as much as a wrestler. But Taryn Terrell is clearly going to wrestle at some point. So this ought to be fun, ought to be interesting at least. So then we get Trevor Murdoch cutting a promo, but he's back there with May Valentine, who I'm telling you had to come off an assembly line. Nobody can have less personality than May Valentine. She's clearly something out of iRobot. Clearly. It is absolutely, I cannot believe she has so little personality. But she's nice to look at. Anyway, so we move on. We move on to Trevor Murdoch. And he cuts this really, really decent, heartfelt promo. Kind of a old school promo. He's breathing really hard. He's breathing like he's asleep. And he's talking about being national champion was the highlight of his career. It meant everything to him. And that, some people say it wasn't smart for him to fight Chris Adonis with the neck injury. But he said the NWA wouldn't have gave him a chance, wouldn't have gave him the opportunity to even be the national champion if they thought he was a coward. And because he's not a coward, he fought regardless. And he failed. But he didn't blame Chris Adonis. He blamed Nick Aldis. And said that he's putting Nick Aldis on notice. He's coming for the world title. And I thought, interesting. That's a real interesting piece of business. We're not going to go back for the guy who beat you. We're going to go for the guy who apparently set you up. So that's fair, because they did set him up. It's clear as crystal that Nick Aldis basically was talking to him and distracted him so Chris Adonis could attack him from behind. So, okay, fair enough. Didn't mind that. Didn't mind that at all. So the next match was Jax Dane and Crimson versus Matt Mims and Mr. NYC Slice Boogie. Know what I'm saying? A bomb atomically. Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses. Every time I think of New York, I just think of the Wu-Tang Clan. Anyway, at one point, Jax Dane gets yanked off the ring apron. The old yank off the ring apron, you hit your forehead on the ring apron, he goes down. And he's down for going on 10 minutes. He's just laying outside the ring. It felt incredibly phony. It felt so incredibly phony. This big dude got his leg pulled. He hit the ring apron and then just fainted like a princess and just stayed outside the ring and just laid there. And so Crimson had to wrestle the match by himself, basically a handicap match. And he was still kind of holding on. It came to his attention at one point that he figured out that it was Slice Boogie who had pulled Jax Dane off the rope. And so he started choking him, like both hands around his throat like Homer Simpson. And of course, this Boogie tagged out to Matthew Mims, who ended up rolling Crimson up and getting the pinfall. So Matthew Mims and Slice Boogie win. Crimson throughout the match was looking for Jax Dane to tag out, but the guy was still laid out outside the ring. And so after the match, Crimson's getting a little bit frustrated because Jax Dane was down for so long. And he's like, get up, man. And then as soon as he says, like, get up, Jax Dane starts to motion like he's trying to stand up. He sits up and all this type of stuff. He's still kind of groggy, and you got referees and everything out there. And you know what? I didn't like this. It was weird. Like, I know this is honestly going somewhere. They're probably going to end up breaking this team up too, this Jax Dane and Crimson team. which is strange because I know they're probably going to be breaking up Kratos and Stevens at the same time. And I'm okay with both of these teams being broken up. I just don't think we should be doing it at the same time. Plus, I think that given Matthew Mims, who has been a job guy since he came onto NWA, giving him a win, but beating Perro and Odinson seemed kind of weird to me. Now, Slice Boogie, you don't want to beat that guy because he's somebody that you're building apparently. So but you have to find another way around it. I mean, I don't see why you would beat the guys who look more like a tag team and look more like a threat. You would beat those guys, but you would, protect Slice Boogie and Matthew Mims. I don't know. Maybe there's something there that I don't know. Anyway, Nick Aldis had an announcement. So everybody thought that he was going to formally announce that Chris Adonis is a member of Strictly Business, but that is not what he wanted. He talked about being endorsed by Dory Funk and Harley Race, being champion for 900 days. And he says that the reason he's 900 days because sometimes he's good and sometimes he's great. And the days when he's good pisses him off because he wants to be great all the time. He wants everything to be memorable, every match to be the best match, every promo to be the best promo, and for everybody to be standing up all the time. He cannot settle for good. And because he doesn't settle for good, he doesn't settle for good as far as Strictly Business is concerned. So he says we're actively recruiting in Strictly Business. If you are thinking that you're of the right caliber and you're anywhere in the world, in any promotion, any organization, put in an application to be a member of Strictly Business. Then he says that nobody's spot is guaranteed. That nobody in Strictly Business is guaranteed a spot. And that there is no one spot that's open. There could be a number of spots opened. And there's no set number. Now, it's not just that, Chris Adonis could take one spot, but it could be Chris Adonis and 10 more people if they're of the right caliber. Or he could get rid of everybody and it could just be him if the others fail to be of the highest caliber. And I like this because they're setting the standards. He's saying like, hey, I am the standard for this group. I am champion for 900 days. I don't settle for good. This was excellent. This was an excellent promo, as usual, from Nick Aldis. He's got this thing down to a science. I don't know how they're going to run this show without him, to be quite honest. Like, I don't see how they can take the belt off of him, ever, if we're being honest. There's nobody on this guy's level as far as him being able to cut a promo and get over the ideas that he's trying to say in a short amount of time, too. Because his promo is like 3 minutes, maybe. He definitely needs some competition in the promo department. Some other people who could carry the company. But I see them building Trevor Murdoch as an opponent. He ought to be a fine opponent. But obviously he's not going to be the guy. When it comes to breaking a 900-day championship run. Not for Trevor Murdoch, no. So the main event was Fred Rosser versus the Pope for the NWA television title. The match had a 6:05 time limit, which is very strange because I thought the time limit was 10:05 now. I could have sworn the time limit was 10:05 and they moved it back to 6:05. So the match was solid. The Pope has, what they call it, I forget what they call it, the Deadly Seven or whatever. If you win your 7 title defenses, you get a world title match. He had 2 of 7 going in. After this match, he's got 3 of 7. So Pope wins with the running knees to the back. Solid match, not bad. I really wish they could have gotten more time. This 6:05 time limit that's really too short. I think it should go back to 10 minutes just so, you can still end the match in 6 minutes, but, make it seem like at least they got a lot of time to work and so they can slow it down a little bit, and actually be able to really get some stuff done and let it breathe. But, I can understand why you want to keep a cold match for 6 minutes. They really didn't build this match too much. But the show closed with Tyrus and Austin Idol coming out to sort of confront the Pope from a distance and telling him, hey, Tyrus is next. Tyrus is coming for you in that television title. What you going to do, And since Austin Idols has promised that, you know, Tyrus is going to end up being a world champion eventually, then this seems to be the route that they're going to take. They're going to take the world title, the television title, and then do the 7 title defenses to get Tyrus a championship match. So it all makes sense. It's all very simple. Nothing overly complex here. The Thunder Rosa stuff is a little, I'm like, okay. And, you know, again, I didn't really like Powerrr and Odinson losing, but they lost to a solid team who, you know, has a future. One guy's a champion. So this was a very solid episode. You know, NWA, once again, very enjoyable. Thank you guys for listening. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Go into the description and find something that works for you. You want to send me money directly, send it via Cash App. You want to subscribe to the channel, then do so via Subscribe Star, $5 per month. Thank you kindly for either one of those things. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, which is through the link in the description. Be sure to like and share and hit the notification bell and comment. I want to know what you guys thought of NWA Powerrr from April the 6th, 2021. And I'll talk to you guys later.